Hello. Today we're talking about how if you buy an IPO, you are the exit liquidity. SpaceX was incredible IPO, arguably the largest, most highly anticipated IPO. This is straight from Google, and it is at 1.8 trillion. That's just instant. It probably went up to over 2.4 trillion. And so far, they did. This is the record-breaking IPO. So, and it even gets special fast entry index treatment because the valuation is so massive. So, so it's already in NASDAQ 100, but it might even be be NASDAQ just after 15 days instead of the usual 3 months wait. It is so massive. And also lots of hype. Everyone wants to buy this. I know lots of people want to buy for a long time SpaceX, but they couldn't because it's been locked in the private markets. And also, all this future of space, of traveling to Mars, space launches has been a big narrative, and everyone wants a piece of that. So that's probably why it's, and also the AI and XAI being rolled into SpaceX. So also was a brilliant move by Elon just to get the IPO that much higher. So what are you getting when you when you buy this SpaceX IPO? So here we'll compare to Google. It's back into 2004 compared to SpaceX. So we got 23 billion compared to 1.8 trillion. It's probably 208 or 200 times more. So capital raised is approximately 1.9 billion compared to 75 billion. That's maybe 40 times more. And you already look at the revenue. Google had a lot less revenue. Would probably adjust for inflation, probably twice or three times as much, probably 6 billion. And that'd be 60 billion initial valuation. So net profit and loss, Google's already profitable at the time of IPO, whereas the whole SpaceX is not profitable. Listing price only $85, $135. What matters is the market cap it comes out of. So it came out at 160 the first day. And now I believe it's at 185. So it spiked all the way up to 220. And then it went back down to 185 over the last few days. It's open about a week now. And then so pretty much merged everything, SpaceX, XAI. This is all to make the IPO a bigger deal. They're planning this for years. And now with AI boom, it'd be probably a good time to merge together and do this one 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 big IPO. So total revenue, 18 billion. So revenue is increasing at a good pace, 15% a year probably. And then, but they're still losing money. The gap, that's about 5 billion compared to and they were making money just with the space operations alone back in 2024. So this loss driven by XAI is posting a huge operating loss of almost 7 billion or 6 billion, sorry. So, and the revenue is about 5 billion. So it's been up 15% this year. So overall, they're still losing money, but they have a chance to go profitable. The Starlink is the main driver of the whole SpaceX. They're the main profitable engine, like Google search back in the day. So, Starlink 11.4 billion, and I think it's growing well, and has a good chance to take over many of the telecoms, huge profit, stable business, stable revenue. But the space launch is mostly almost profitable, but mostly still operating at a loss. And the big loser is XAI and X. So to make this a proper company, you have to really turn around the AI side and the X side. I'm pretty sure X is probably doing well, but probably XAI or X AI is probably a losing, not probably what they want it to be. So that's what you're getting. Again, pretty much a telecom. And again, the space launch business, which these ones have the real big growth. I'm sure Starlink has also big growth, focusing on more rural people and people who can't get regular internet, cable internet. And also, XAI also hopefully should have a big growth with all the AI. So what are you actually buying? Again, lots of hype. So if you buy on Starlink alone, again, for price to earnings of almost 450, which is extremely high. You compare that to Palantir, uh, that the Bitcoin, no PE, so you may assume it's still speculative. But the other areas, the XAI, space launch, are still driving it down, even though those are the areas for the biggest growth. So I still do expect SpaceX to do extremely well as a company, but doesn't mean the share price will do extremely well. I think there'd be a big disconnect for some years just because of this insane valuation on the IPO date. So you compare this to some companies like Palantir, it's still like it started at 25 and it went to 7 over the next year before it rebounded back up. So if you're willing to ride the wave of SpaceX losing down 70%, then before it goes back up, then I'll say it's probably a good investment for you. Or it could be like Zoom, where it just plummets because it sells into this. By the time no one wanted Zoom, so I think it went pretty low at some point, down to like $10, something like that, when no one cared about Zoom and everyone else was taking about Zoom. Now it's been back up. So you bought the IPO, you would have lost out almost, still down 2/3. Who knows where Zoom will go? Or it could be just like Figma, where it just straight down. But yeah, I've already seen a little bit of a pop just on the hype, all the excitement coming out. But this is a down pretty much to 1/10 of what it was. Or you could continue to see this actual boom continue going on, like ARM did back couple of years ago, and where it just sat kind of a double, and then now really rocketed up with the AI boom. So, and I say like maybe that's probably might be a profitable company like Palantir where it jumped back up, or it might just go up like ARM. There's also a good chance that you are the exit liquidity, and this SpaceX just goes down for several years. Are you willing to hold for 5 years? Wow, or 10 years even, just so it regains its market cap, but these companies grow into fruition. So, and you're not the insider. The insider, like Google, I was thinking of buying Google when we get space exposure to SpaceX back in 2022 or 2021, back when the valuation of 60 billion. So if you do the math, that's probably a 50x or whatever. So that's like a crazy upside they had. All these insiders. Get that valuation, be the insider. Had 5 years. A lot of advancements happened. They rolled in XAI. They rolled in the Grok. They rolled in X in there. And still, so, but maybe, so they've got all the upside. And what you're buying, you can unprofitable company for almost be 2 trillion now. And you could have got that 20x in price. And so the insiders, so right when everyone else is piling in, they are selling, or they will be selling because there's a lockup period. So maybe after 6 months. So when that lockup period comes due, there'll be a downward pressure on the stock because those people got into 6 billion. Now they want to move that money and take their gains. So every index invites also a downward pressure will push it down. So you might not get like this where's ARM, where you might not have that chance where you're buying into the boom, where you launch and the market just goes straight up. Because you just you launch at the worst possible time, the worst possible bear market. And then, so all these index investors will be forced to buy this unprofitable company. So pension funds, insurance companies will blindly buy SpaceX because they'll be in the NASDAQ 100. And then there's also more of these IPOs coming on the back end. And also, so AI, OpenAI, and Anthropic also will be coming in just on their heels. And there's no even public IPO, so you're going in blind in these companies. These are SpaceX, they have an earnings report, and you can look at the filing. But with these two, there's nothing. So all you guys, trust me, bro. And crypto investors have seen this before. Trust me, bro. NFT investors have seen this before. Trust me, bro. So, and that's why most of crypto investors are Bitcoin only now. There's still a few hardcore out there. So don't trust, verify, and toss these IPOs in the trash. Thank you for watching this video. If you feel that SpaceX is overvalued and don't want to participate, and instead you want to compensate me, feel free to zap me at andre@rizfo.com. Also, you can join me on YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe. Andre Invests in Stack Sats. Also, join me in school at Andre Invest in Stack Sats. Also, if you like some more Great Bitcoin content. You can watch Join the Missionaries. Here's a link at school. Also be in the comments. And also Maple Bitcoin, another one. Here's a link in the school. Be also in the comments. Thank you.